All right, well, good afternoon. I'm Kelly Wilson. I'm the principal here at AAST, and I'm pleased to welcome you to this special day for our school. It's lovely to see so many friends here to celebrate our dear colleague and our moon tree and our dedication to the moon tree to the memory of Dr. Rhonda Ford. We want to send a special thank you and a special welcome to Rhonda's family. We have Doug here and Carson and Kathy. Thank you so much for coming, and we know that Michael and Rachel and Justin and Jason are all here in spirit, along with many other friends who couldn't make it. We knew we wanted to honor Rhonda's memory and impact here at the Academy in a significant way. And when we found out that we were selected by NASA to be an Artemis Moon Tree Steward, we knew we immediately saw the perfect connection. The moon tree symbolizes our school's commitment to science and to the environment and to STEM education. And Dr. Ford was a champion for those causes right here on this campus. Today, on Rhonda's birthday, we gather to dedicate our moon tree in loving memory of Dr. Ford. This tree will serve as a lasting tribute to the reminder of Dr. Ford's notable contributions to the growth of the students and the faculty here at AAST. And Rhonda remains an inspiration to all of us. So I hope you enjoy the ceremony. I would like to introduce Miss Annie Johnson, who is another champion of science here at the Academy. Miss Johnson and her environmental engineering students are responsible for our securing our status as a moon tree steward. And they are actually the stewards of the tree, and we are so glad for that. And Miss Johnson will tell you a little bit about the process.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. The story of the moon trees began in early 1971 when NASA astronaut Stuart Roosa embarked on the Apollo 14 mission carrying a unique container of seeds. Roosa, a former smoke jumper with the Forest Service, collaborated with the Forest Service to take 5 different species of tree seeds into lunar orbit. The selected species included loblolly pines, sweet gums, American sycamores, Douglas firs, and redwoods. He transported over 500 seeds in a canister within his personal preference kit, a small canvas pouch that accompanied him aboard the command module Kitty Hawk during his lunar journey in February 1971. A year later, these seeds were sent to the Forest Service for germination. Many of the seeds successfully sprouted into viable seedlings. Starting in 1975, these trees were distributed to various public locations across the country, including schools, national parks, national forests, and NASA centers. Some Apollo trees continue to thrive today, such as the American sycamore planted at the Cradle of Forestry in Pisgah Forest in North Carolina. NASA is once again venturing to the moon with the Artemis missions. Scientists from the Forest Service and NASA have collaborated to send a new batch of tree seeds into deep space. Understanding how seeds respond to zero gravity and radiation is crucial as humanity prepares for further exploration of the moon, Mars, and beyond. Successful plant experiments on the ISS continue, and ongoing research is focused on cultivating food crops in lunar and Martian regolith. Our aerospace and environmental engineering students have actively participated in this research through the Plant the Moon competition. Our loblolly pine moon tree grew from a seed that orbited the moon during the Artemis 1 mission from November 16th to December 11th, 2022. This mission marked NASA's first uncrewed integrated test of the Orion Deep Space Exploration System, successfully verifying its capabilities before sending astronauts during the planned Artemis 2 mission in April 2026. Orion traveled approximately 20,000 miles farther than the Apollo capsule, reaching over 43,000 miles beyond the moon and about 270,000 miles from Earth. Our moon tree seedling was grown at the USDA Forest Service Coeur d'Alene Nursery in Idaho. In October 2023, around 1,300 public institutions across the nation applied for the prestigious honor of being a moon tree steward, and we were among approximately 150 selected in the inaugural cohort of recipients. Other institutions in South Carolina include Conway Elementary School, Manning Early Childhood Center, and the Spartanburg Community College Horticulture Program. Our moon tree was planted on May 1st, 2024 by seniors majoring in environmental engineering. On January 2nd, 2025, our moon tree was replanted with the assistance of Michael Mathis of M&M Tree Services to provide higher soil quality and increased sunlight exposure. We moved it just a tad bit. When it turned to winter, we had a shadow from the building here. Okay. We intend to utilize our moon tree as a STEM education resource in collaboration with the aerospace and the environmental engineering programs, while also engaging the community through our newsletter, website, social media, and events such as open houses and elementary school programs. The Artemis moon trees serve to inspire young individuals to foster a sense of wonder and curiosity about our world and beyond. Rhonda Ford embodied this mission as well. Mindy Penn will now share her thoughts to honor the inspiration and legacy that Rhonda has left for her students and all of us.
So I have been in awe of Rhonda Ford since about 1985. And when I say awe, I mean it in the Esther Yardumian dictionary word of the day sense, okay? And that means reverential respect mixed with wonder and fear. So Rhonda was a senior and I was a freshman, so the only reason our paths crossed was that I dated one of her best friends, Eric Smith. And they let me sit at their lunch table. I probably did not say 10 words that year, but I made sure that every ninth grader knew that I was sitting at the table with the Rhonda Sprouls. The Rhonda Sprouls top science student, the Rhonda Sprouls state basketball champion, Rhonda Sprouls queen of the top secret party location, CPATH. Those are people who are from North Myrtle Beach. So during that time, I was in her orbit with reverence and wonder and fear. And about that time, I would say it was 80% fear and 20% wonder. Fast forward about 20 years and I joined the faculty of North Myrtle Beach High School. Rhonda had been teaching for a while at that point, and I was really eager to rekindle her friendship because I admired her so much. She was already a rock star teacher there, and I did my best to seat myself next to her in every faculty meeting that I could, or wangle my way into her table group at professional development. And I really thought things were going well. I was feeling really good about it. I was feeling very much like a freshman who had gotten to be friends with the senior at 34 years old. So I was now at a point where I could eat lunch with Rhonda anytime I wanted. And one day we were talking about the good old days, and I said something about Eric. And she's like, wait, you dated Eric? Yeah. She's like, really? For how long? I was like, all year? She was like, really? Why didn't you ever come sit with us at our table? Okay, I was a little crushed. But undaunted. I knew that Rhonda was unique and special and always a step ahead of me. And it was exactly what I needed as a brand new career changer teacher. And once I figured out that Rhonda was always ahead of the game in every way in life, particularly when it became to meeting deadlines, I glued my procrastinating behind to her side. Because if something was if we had 4 weeks to do something, Rhonda was going to be started on day 2 and finished by the end of week 1. And I am not that intrinsically motivated, but I am competitive. So if Rhonda was taking a grad class, I took a grad class, because if I was taking it at the same time as her, then I knew I would keep up, because she would ask me if I had read chapter 1, and I'd be like, we just got it 20 minutes ago, how are you done? But I wouldn't let her ever get ahead of me, so I always did my work if we were together. Rhonda did national boards. I signed up immediately because that was the only way I was going to get it done. And when we renewed in the same year, and I had figured out really, really quickly the key to success was to hitch your wagon to Rhonda Ford if you don't want to be left behind. And I did that continually throughout my 20 years as an educator. Here at AAST, Rhonda and I got to spend some of my most exciting years in education developing the STEM program. That time was a crucible of educational creativity that was truly unmatched. We were here doing new things that we never imagined possible. Talk about realize the possibilities. We spent so many days showing up at each other's desks going, you know what'd be cool? It's like if I did this and you did that and the kids would learn this, let's go ask Debbie Pace if that's all right. Let's go ask if we can do it. What felt like shenanigans, became these amazing lessons and collaborative experiences. And that's how I ended up teaching 150 ninth graders how to build apps for phones when I had no experience at all. But Rhonda said, don't worry about it. They got YouTube. So I said, okay, if she thinks I can do it, then okay, I'll do it. So my students won the state competition, and they got a $5,000 grant for a STEM experience. And Rhonda said, well, if we take them somewhere? And I was like, where are we gonna go? Like, we're gonna go to McDonald's? This is $5,000. And she was like, I don't know, somewhere good. And so she walked away and came back a little while later because she had been like, you know how she's getting on a mission, right? She was on that computer. And the next thing I know, she's like, well, I have mapped from here to every space center on the East Coast. And the one we can afford to go to is in Huntsville, Alabama. So I was like, fantastic, let's do that. And I was like, we don't have any money, not a problem. Rhonda gets on the phone, we got the money. So we took 100 kids to Huntsville, Alabama to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. And I got to hold hands and squeal at the base of the Saturn V rocket with her, like, we can't believe we're here, this is real. And we stood there slack-jawed inside the museum looking at this first manned, spacecraft that had less computing power than an iPhone, which is a fact I remember to this day because we both were like, what? The pièce de résistance to this particular trip was that we had rented out an entire movie theater for a private viewing of Apollo 13, which she and I both really, really loved that movie. And we got the good movie theater with the reclining seats and the tray tables. The kids thought we were amazing. And we had this whole day of fabulous experiences, and we finally settled down into our recliner seats with our popcorn, and I was like, we gotta take a selfie. So I took a picture. It's horrible, you'll never see it, but I love the photo because it reminds me of that moment, because she took that big old giant Diet Coke and she held it up and she goes, we're done good. And I was like, she said, we. And that was the moment that my mix of reverential fear and wonder flipped to 80% wonder and 20% fear, because let's be honest, we were all scared of her just a little bit to the end.
Some more than others.
Yeah. But how wonderful, how full of wonder I was at the chance to have a colleague and a friend and a day like that. She was the definition of awesome. And I cannot think of a better tribute to my best day with Rhonda Ford than this intrepid little space seedling over here, growing into an awe-inspiring tree right here on Earth.
Hey. So my name is Rebecca Cerrone, and I wanted to share with y'all how I met Rhonda, the gems that she shared with me, and the impact that they left. So I was a new teacher. This is my 7th year teaching. And I was a brand new teacher. I didn't have a classroom. I was in a small little cubby office right next to Rhonda's. At the time, she was a STEM coach. So I was traveling from classroom to classroom in a cart. And so I, as a new teacher, I would be there every day until 5:30 just to make sure I got the job done. And so eventually I got to talking to Rhonda because she was right next to me. And she could read me so well. She knew if I had a good day or a bad day really quickly. And so I remember one day it was a bad day as a new teacher. I mean, it was like rock bottom bad. A whole lesson bombed out. I thought it was going to be great. Didn't work out. And she said, well, what's wrong? And I said, oh, blah, you know, all this happened and the kids and then the classroom management. And so I just wanted to share with you the gems that she left me through that year. And so one of these was, there is a process to improvement. And that process should be respected. When a lesson doesn't work, you evaluate, you analyze, and you adjust. Now, sometimes if needed, you toss it, but first stay with it, reflect, and adjust every single time that that's necessary. And she said, it's gonna happen again and again, and she was right. She was absolutely right. It has happened a million times over in those 7 years. The second gem was, no matter how a kid performed in your class, they will remember the respect and the care that you showed them. And she was right. She was absolutely right. What I appreciated about Rhonda was that when she spoke, it was believable. I trusted that what she said was true. She inspired collaboration. If she asked people to work together during a PD, we did it out of respect for her, and we could count on it being necessary for one reason or another. She always related a task to our profession. She understood the profession from a teacher's perspective, and she was a tremendous advocate for us. I felt like she was our champion. We could count on her to roll up her sleeves anytime we were in a dilemma. She was willing to walk with us to success and then allow us to shine without taking any praise for herself. And I think back to that, and I think that maybe she must have not needed it. She must have had peace with her role by wanting more for us than she wanted for herself. But she never gave any kind of criticism for growth without willing to roll up those sleeves and be right next to us. So I know that these gems that she left me had a lasting impact, because 7 years later, I still think of her before Easter break and remind myself to recharge, because she told me it's the last haul of the semester. And she was right. She was right. That's the time you have to rest and recharge. 7 years later, I still think of her when a lesson bombed, and I find myself reflecting and adjusting. I think of her, respect the process. 7 years later, I still remember to respect that process as much as the outcome. That there's not only value in the outcome, but that there's a value to the process as well. 7 years later, I still think of her telling me to keep it authentic, because the kids will know. And she was right. The kids do know authentic. So thank you.
I hope that's not like ominous. Let me be a teacher. Let me wander among those who want to become and those who do not yet know all that they can be. Let me inspire not just with words, but with actions, as an example of striving to do more, a drive to seek truth and possibility. Let me be a safe haven, a path through uncertainty, where it's okay to seek the answers to even the tough questions and persevere. Let me show you how you can be so much more than you may be able to see. Let me be someone who believes in you. Thank you, Dr. Rhonda Sprosford, for being a great teacher to all of us.
Thank you all for sharing that, and thank you everybody for coming today. This is really special that you're here. It means a lot to our school. So I hope you enjoyed the ceremony. To Rhonda's family, thank you for being here. Thank you for letting Rhonda be a part of our family too. We all loved and admired her so much. And the evidence of her impact is all over our building. And now we have on our front lawn this wonderful tree that's going to thrive and grow as a testament to her contributions here at AAST. So we have a small gift for you to commemorate today's ceremony, and I hope it reminds you of how much she was loved and admired by her work family. So Doug and Carson, if you will also share this with Miss Francis, please. So here you go. There's that. And the yearbook was dedicated to Rhonda.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, and so now that it closes our ceremony, and I thank you all for coming, and if you would join us inside in the community room for refreshments and a brief reception.
somewhere out there, somewhere far away. I want you back, I want you back. My neighbors think I'm crazy, but they don't understand. You're all I had, you're all I had. At night when the stars light up my room, I sit by myself, talking to the moon, trying to get to you.